Hey guys, what's pop-a-lappin'? It's that time already for my seasonal palette video. So every season I have a makeup drawer where I keep seasonal palettes that I want to use for that time of year, and I really vary them between price points, some old, some new, different color stories, all of that. So it's time to refresh my drawer. I put all of my fall palettes away, and we're going to be doing 10 winter/holiday palettes you need to be using this time of year if you have them. So the point of this really is to encourage you, if you have any palettes that you haven't reached for in a while and you think they will fit the season, to pull them out, put them on your desk, put them in a drawer near you, so when you aren't sure what palette to use, you've got those guys that you put in your drawer. This video is just to inspire you. If you have any of these, maybe put these in your drawer. If you can think of any great palettes for this time of year you want to use, comment them down below. But let me tell you my vibes for this time of year. I know it isn't quite winter yet, but with it being the holidays, I kind of wanted to combine the two because I have a few very literal Christmas palettes that I want to use because there's only one time of year it makes a ton of sense to use them. My vibes for color stories were actually a little brighter. I pulled some like brighter blue cool toned palettes, but I also pulled some glittery palettes for the New Year's holiday time of year, and then also a lot of golds because I love a gold or glimmering eye with a red lip. And then I also think cool tones, just thinking of winter in particular, are really good to be wearing. So I have a whole array of 10 palettes, and I didn't cheat this time. I always cheat, but I was very honest in these rankings. Literally, it's 10 palettes that I plan on using this winter/holiday season. So let's go ahead and get into it. These are in no particular order other than alphabetical by the brand. So a palette that I want to definitely be using this winter is the Sultry palette. So this one I was thinking more so for winter time as opposed to the holidays, though you can definitely get away with it. I mean, you can get away with anything that you want, but it makes it more holiday-y because look at this glimmer palette, and then the inside's a little bit more neutral, but I find it does lean more cool. Obviously you have a warm pop in here, but for the most part I find this very seasonally appropriate for my neutral girls. If you're boring like me and you love neutrals, I like this because the shimmers are very, very glimmery, which I think is something that you can get away with this time of year. You can get a smokier eye because darker eye makeup is also in, and then you can also get a very cool toned look if you play in the right colors. Not to mention this palette has phenomenal quality, so I do not want my ABH palettes to go unloved. This one is one of my more used ones. This one is a repurchased one, but I think that this is the perfect time to have this near me during this time of year, so I will be using ABH Sultry. Next up is the palette I have on my eyes. I pulled this one specifically for the glimmery vibes. So I've talked about this a few times already. I've actually already done a winter tutorial with a similar vibe, but holiday season, glimmery eyes and red lips. I like to keep the eyes a more light natural color but with gleam. So for that kind of look, I pulled out the Charlotte Tilbury Celestial Pearl eyeshadow palette. I believe this one is no longer available. It came out in last year's holiday season. Unfortunate she didn't come out with any more this year because look how beautiful this packaging is. It has this holographic marble with the cute stars over top, but the inside is what I'm talking about. So there is not a matte shadow in here. This is all going to give you a glimmering, gleaming lid. You do have this shade right here and this shade right here, which are more shimmers, but they brighten the eyes. I mean, this one is obviously more of a definition color, which I do have in my crease, but you can see it's very subtle just so that I don't have a very bright eyelid. It will add some definition, but these two shades are the star of my winter ideal look. So I have this shade all over my lid. It's kind of like a pink and gold duochrome, but very, very glimmery. Notice I'm saying glimmery and not glittery. And then this is the semi-glittery shade, like not unsafe glitter, but very sparkly for the eyelid right here. This is more of a lid topper. I also kind of patted this all over to give my eye look a little bit more of a glimmer to it, but this is definitely a palette that I want to pair with a bold lip this winter, this holiday season, so I definitely wanted to pull this one out. And I just love my bare lid right now. I know I have more of a neutral lip, but you best believe I will be pairing this with a red this holiday season. The next palette that I have, very literally Christmas, but I'm never gonna be inclined to reach for this palette other than this time of year. So this is the ColourPop Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer palette. This launched during the holiday season last year, so you can't get it anymore. But surprisingly, not only did I love the theme of it, but I love the color story, oddly enough. It doesn't scream Christmas. Well, maybe it does. It screams like wearable Christmas, right? You have the green pops here, and then you have a lot of red and berry tones. I stand corrected. This is quite Christmassy, but it also is still approachable. I'm more than likely going to get a warmer eye with this, but I think the green is a fun pop if you want to take it literally. Put the green all over the eyelid, maybe have some warm tones around there. But I feel like this takes Christmas to a wearable-ish level. I liked the quality in here as well. Being very honest, I haven't reached for this at all since it launched last year during Christmas when I used it. But now that it's that time of year again, I wanted to pull out this Christmas palette because it gives me the vibes. It's hard to feel Christmassy in Florida. I can't wait to go home and use this. Okay, I wanted to add another affordable option just so that I wasn't talking about expensive palettes, and this one is a palette that I haven't reached for it quite enough. This is gonna play with my colorful side. So if I want a more colorful look, I plan on reaching for the e.l.f. Earth and Ocean palette. So the intention of this, obviously the earth is going to be the green tones and the ocean is the blue tones, but I want to reach for blue eyeshadows a little bit more. I don't know how successful I will be in that, but this has the really great blue tones. And then I have like goldish greens for when I want to play it safe, but I love that the golds are there for the holidays or every day. And the greens are kind of fun. I don't know seasonally about greens being the color right now, but I like that they're in there. I don't use this as often. I don't love drugstore eyeshadows, but I think e.l.f. has an okay formula when they get it good, you know? And this one is okay. So I wanted to use this one, give this one some more love and attention, and I thought we could pull some like icy blue vibes out of this. Number 5, not that this is in any order, but 5 out of 10. This one I thought would be perfect for winter. So this is the Viseart Paris Etoile. Wanted to throw in a Viseart in here because I love the formula so much, and this is kind of like a midnight skies kind of packaging. And then the colors are cool tone and smoky for the winter, which is exactly the vibes that winter is giving off here. You can also get lighter looks as well, playing with these colors. You can use this as eyeliner, or you can get those deep dark smoky eyes, which I think are going to be fun, more towards winter, less away from the holiday season. But obviously you can wear whatever you want, but I think it's a little bit more fun to be wearing darker eyes, smokier eyes in the winter time. So I feel like this is where I want this one to come into play. And it's Viseart. It has really great quality. This one also, if you're gonna travel, I don't know that I will be, but if you're going to travel, you have a tiny little palette here that holds 8 shades. And I didn't get a ton of use out of this since I've gotten it. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to mess around with this. And this one's gonna take me a little bit out of my comfort zone. Not too much, like it still is a little on the safer side, which is what Viseart does so well. But it's going to take me just a little bit outside, and I'm excited to see what I can do with it and the looks that I can create. The next palette is not necessarily a palette that I love, but I think it's very appropriate for this time of year, and I definitely think I can take a few colors from here. This is the Melt Cosmetics Mary Jane palette. Throwback to when this launched, and I felt weird reviewing this because I was a teacher and I taught my students about like drugs and marijuana and all of that, and I was like, I don't know if I want to be talking about this on my channel, but we're not a teacher anymore. And this is just such a pretty cool toned palette that I think is going to be fun for grungier eyes over the winter time. They have some very sparkly shades. There's a couple shades in here that are quite messy that I don't love, but I can most certainly make work. And I just feel like this is fitting the cool tone vibe that I was looking for this lineup of palettes. I also have the ABH Sultry, but this one really takes it there in terms of like the gray based colors. So I'm excited to use this a little bit more. This was quite the unique color story when it launched, so it did get a lot of hype. I don't think the quality was perfect on it, but I think this fits the vibes of the looks that I'm going for. So if you have that one, pull it out. Okay, this one is like strictly for holidays. I mean, obviously I can wear it not in the holidays. It's going to be good for winter too, but I pulled this in mind for the looks that I wanted to do over the holiday season, which is like now, but the Natasha Denona gold palette. Had to pick a gold palette. You know what I'm upset about? I'm telling you now, I did not pick a Pat McGrath palette. I should have picked a Pat McGrath Mothership palette for the glimmery vibes. Ooh, I'm kicking myself. I'm gonna cheat now. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna pull one when I'm done filming with these. Okay, anyways, can't believe I forgot a Pat McGrath palette, but I did pull the gold palette because it's gold. And this I just thought has the perfect holiday tones for holiday makeup. I don't really think I need to explain too much why. You have the golds, the neutral tones, the sparkly shades, pop of blue if you want for the more winter time. I'm pretty sure a couple years ago I put this in my must-use winter palettes, but it's coming back out and I spent a lot of money on it. I did recently repurchase this when it restocked a few months ago, so it's kind of a new palette. And I love this one. This is one of my all-time favorite Natasha Denona palettes, and this is just the perfect time of year for me to give it some more love and attention. I also wanted to pick this one out. It is a new one. You can't purchase it anymore because it's sold out very fast, but I hope if you picked it up, you're using it. This is the Odin's Eye Merry Christmas palette. I didn't think I could be more literal than the ColourPop palette, but I could be with the Merry Christmas palette for the holiday season. Gosh, the packaging here is so extra. It's actually like a little obnoxious, but oh my goodness. Greens and reds all up in here. And then if you know Odin's Eye, they do really specialize in the shimmery, glimmery shades that are going to be perfect, exactly what I'm looking for this time of year. We can play with some fun green looks. We can get some color here. We can keep it very neutral with some, maybe not very neutral looking at this, but we can keep it more like the warmish neutral side to stay kind of within my comfort zone. Yeah, I mean, this is a new one. Unfortunately, can't pick it up. I doubt they'll be restocking it because it is such a seasonal palette, but I'm definitely continuing to use this one. The other one, the New Year's Eve palette, or was the Merry Christmas Eve palette, was more cool toned. I wanted to pick that one up as well. I'll probably put it in this pile anyways, but thought this one was a little bit better. Then I picked up this one from Tom Ford. This, I had more glimmery, warm tone thoughts in my head when I picked this out. This is the Lava Luster quad. So this is an all shimmer quad. Honestly, it's an all glimmer quad. It's even more glimmery than the Charlotte Tilbury. This just screams holidays to me, honestly, and winter with the shimmers, and I love this formula from Tom Ford. They might still be selling it. I hope that they are, because this one is good too. I gave all my attention to Metal Lust, which launched with this one, but this one is also very nice. These are going to be great lid shades for the holiday season. I spent a lot of money on it. I'm going to use it. And then the 10th palette that I have that I picked, this one, again, I was thinking blues, right? But it also does contain a gold shade and a red shade that I could pull a warm look when I'm feeling very unbold with. So this is from the brand ZC, and this is in collaboration with the British Museum, and this is their Alice in Wonderland palette. Can you take a moment? Just take a moment. Look at, oh my gosh. I have not pulled a ZC palette out in a little bit, so I wanted to give them some love, because I don't know, I like their palettes. I think they're so fun with the packaging. And here is the color story. It's kind of an ugly color story, but I feel like in my head I rearrange it and I can make it work, especially for the winter time. These shades out here are really, really neat. There is a pressed glitter that will not be touching my face, but the rest of this palette, I feel like I can do some cool stuff with this winter, so I'm happy to have pulled this out since it doesn't get much love from me. And I mean, I could just do this and be satisfied with this palette all day, back and forth. But anyways, thought this was a good opportunity to use this. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the Pat McGrath palette out, because let me go cheat for a second. I need to pull another one. So I wanted a glittery one, so I went for the one that gave me all the glitter feels. It's probably not the best winter holiday palette, But I do want to use this winter. And looking at it, I just opened it. It's totally a spring palette, but I don't care. I want to use it. It's super glittery. This is the Pat McGrath Labs Utopian Dream. And I mean, you can see it's probably more appropriate for the springtime, but this palette, in my opinion, is the glitteriest of all Pat McGrath glitters. So I wanted the glitteriest one. This shade, you betcha it's going all over my eyelid this winter. But you know, we have the token gold to make it holiday-y, right? We could totally make it work. Still is definitely a spring palette, but I want to use this winter. So I'm pulling it out. The best one, I think, for the holidays, though, if we want to get very literal, the Bronze Seduction is the best color story-wise if we want to keep it literal with the holidays. But I use that palette so much already that I wanted to pull one that gets a little bit of less use. But yeah, that's another good option if you're looking for a Pat McGrath one. But anyways, these are the palettes that I am going to try and use and create some new, fun, fresh looks with this holiday/winter season. It's going to be a little bit longer than I'm actually using these since I'm technically pulling these before official winter. But I'm excited looking at these. I'm excited for these palettes to be sitting in my drawer next to me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it fun. Take a moment, think about what palettes do you want to pull for the winter. I expect, you know, if you don't have the size of my eyeshadow collection, it doesn't need to be like 10, you know, pull 5, 4, 3 palettes that you think you want to use some more, give some love to. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye guys, have a good one. I wanted to mention this at the end in case you didn't see it yet. I'm wearing Armani Ice to Kill and it is smudging. I'm so upset. I don't remember it doing that. Okay, just a product update for you. See you guys later.